Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirsten, and I talk about all things branding, social media, and email marketing for small business owners. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to take a look at some of my followers' Instagram accounts, give them a little Instagram audit, give some tips and tricks on things that they can do to tweak their profiles to make sure it is converting their audience, and all around it's just going to be super fun. I like to do these because I get to kind of pull apart the bits and pieces of your social media profiles to not only help you, but to teach others what to do and what not to do. So without wasting any time, let's dive in. So the very first account we are going to go through is Relationship Zen. Right off the bat, when I come to their profile, I get a clear understanding of who they are, what they do, and how they can help me if I am looking for their services or the solution that they're offering. In the name field, it says Love and Relationship Coaches. This is fantastic because this name field is actually searchable. If someone is going on Instagram, they can type in Love and Relationship Coach and Relationship Zen will pop up. The very first line in their bio says, helping couples consciously communicate and co-create extraordinary lives together. Again, this is great. Right off the bat, I know who they are, what they do, and how they can help me. They also included who they are that run the actual page. So we have David and Lindsay. That's fantastic because when you are in an industry that is kind of highly sensitive like this, it's important to make sure people know who you are so that they can connect with you on a deeper level. They also included a call to action in their bio. So it says, level up communication today with a pointing down hand to the link in their bio, which leads to a link tree with all of the links that people will need. All around, really good start. And yeah, I'm super pleased. When I go in and I look at their content, there is a beautiful mix of graphics and photo and video content. All around, I'm getting information from them, very valuable content. I get to see pictures of them and who they are, any events that they're running. They have graphics for that. So honestly, I'm super impressed. Their brand colors are here. Their highlight covers are clear. Their profile photo is a photo of them. If I had to give any advice on what to do, I would say to create more reels. Just work on creating content the way that Instagram wants you to create content and you'll be golden. I will say that some of the graphics are a little bit wordy. So instead of having all of the information on one graphic, create a swipe series so that people have to swipe through, and then on the last slide, encourage them to act. So double tap to show love for this post or save this for future reference, so on and so forth. When I was going through your post, I did happen to notice that one of the hashtags you used was banned, and that is romance. So I'm just gonna scroll through here to show you romance. So you can see here at the top, it says recent posts for romance are hidden because some of the posts may not follow Instagram's community guidelines. I strongly recommend you go through your hashtag groups and just double check to make sure none of your hashtags are banned, especially in an industry like yours, because you could run into issues. Some of the things are super highly sensitive when it comes to talking about them. So just make sure you go through and check that out. I also wanted to make a note about captions. I strongly encourage you to use a mix of short and long captions. For those posts that are graphic based and they have a lot of text on them, you're already trying to get a lot of your audience's attention. So instead of trying to get them to read more in the caption, keep it short and sweet and keep all of the text in those graphics, and people will be more likely to engage with them. Other than that, you show up consistently in your feed. I can see who you are. I would recommend maybe creating a branded hashtag like Relationship Zen, using those on all of your posts, but all around, I'm super impressed, and I think you guys are doing a great job. The second profile we are going to look at is Mistral Spirit. It's Iwana. Right off the bat, I know exactly what her profile is about. Her name field says Bujo and Organization. So I know that this is going to be about bullet journaling and organizational spreads. Personally, I don't have the patience to do bullet journaling, but I have so much respect for people that do. It's beautiful. It's really a work of art, and you can tell right away by scrolling through her posts and her content that she knows what she's doing. In her bio, it says bullet journal, organization, creativity. There's an affiliate code there, and she gives a little bit of personal information about herself. 21, Toronto, Queen's Commerce, some flags to represent where she's from, and her profile photo is of her. Great start. She's also optimized the link in her bio so that people can click on it and go to a bunch of different areas. Specifically her YouTube channel, which has, I want to say, around 47,000 subscribers. When it comes to the content, it's very aesthetically pleasing. There are wide shots, close-up shots. She has started experimenting with reels and IGTV videos. All around, this is something that I would follow, even though I don't bullet journal myself. It's just so satisfying to look at. When it comes to the highlight covers and the highlights that are here, I would say that there's maybe a little bit too many highlights, that people aren't actually going to spend their time to go through and look at the content that's in there. I always use 5 as a rule of thumb. You can get into like 5, 6, 7, but I wouldn't do any more than 10. And focus on the areas that you really specialize in. So I know she talks a lot about washi tape, which is very decorative tape that can be used. It can actually go on paper and then you can pull it up and it doesn't damage the paper itself. But that might be its own highlight cover. Whereas doing a little bit of behind the scenes or like a time lapse, those might be their own as well. All around, really great start. When it comes to things that I would change, I would say that you have so many pieces of content created through your YouTube channel that you should be repurposing those into micro content for your Instagram account. So I see here you've dabbled in reels a little bit. Let me just take a look. Yeah, there's some really great content in here, but you're definitely missing an opportunity to just repurpose a lot of your YouTube video content into reels for Instagram. I see here you have IGTVs and guides, so reminders. That's really great. For guides, I would recommend that you put together the top 5 places people can order washi tape or things like that people can easily digest and share to their stories. That is one other thing I would suggest, is creating content that is a little bit more shareable with tips and tricks on how people can bullet journal. You know, making it easy for people who are just starting out, but having that be the main focus of the image or the graphic rather than having it in the caption itself. Swipe series are all the rage right now. Anytime you can get people to stay on your post longer and swipe through, they're getting super informative content. That's going to be a game changer for you. From a personal standpoint, I would like to see a little bit more of you in your feed. I know you have your profile picture here, which is great, but I would love to see you as an individual and you start to integrate yourself into your feed and into your overall brand so people know who they're getting content from. I'm sure that when people come to your YouTube channel, they're going to see you there, but let's also make sure we integrate that into Instagram as well. And then the only other thing that I did notice was that you use a lot of repetitive hashtags. So just be careful with this because you don't want Instagram to kind of flag your content as spammy, which is what happens when you use too many of the same hashtag groups and you're using them on a repetitive basis. So just make sure you have at least 5 different hashtag groups that you are cycling through on a weekly, daily basis, and you should be golden. So like I said, all around, really great job. I'm super duper impressed, and I'm going to continue following because I just find this stuff so cool. And the last account we are going to audit today is Whisking Babe. So Whisking Babe is a dessert shop in Windsor, Essex County, where I'm from. Right off the bat, when I come to the profile, the logo is the profile picture, which is great. The other option is to also have a photo of yourself, maybe holding a dessert or a pastry that you've created, but all around, good start. Your username is your business name, which is great. In the name field, it also says Whisking Babe. I think that is, it could be better used to describe what you do versus just repeating your username. So likely what I would put in your name field is dessert shop or baker or something like that, so that when people are searching for these terms on Instagram, you come up. The very first line in your bio says looking for homemade sweets, satisfy your sweet tooth at Whisking Babe. Again, there's not a lot of real estate in your Instagram bio. There's not a lot of space. So we don't want to waste any characters that could be used to kind of describe what we do and who we are. So I would take out at Whisking Babe because it's getting a little repetitive. It's in your name field, it's in your username field, so you don't need it there. I would make sure to include that you create these wide variety of pastries. I would explain what you create: cheesecakes, butter tarts, cakes, anything that you create that are maybe your top 3 best sellers. I would include those in your bio. You do a good job of explaining to people how they can order, so DM for inquiries, which is great. Ideally, you would have a website that people could order through, but I know that a lot of us aren't necessarily ready for that yet or aren't at that point in our business, but that is a good place to start. Pickup and delivery are available, which is great, and you also indicate the location, which is perfect because it's so important for an industry like yours. You do not want people coming to you from Nova Scotia or even in the US trying to purchase baked goods from you because it's just not feasible for you to get them to them. When it comes to your highlight covers, I would like to see a little bit more of a branded design. So right now you have photos that are the highlight covers, which is okay to start, but it would be really great to have something in your brand colors with the blue and the gold. I would also say that you should name your highlight covers something different and something clear. So when I scroll through, I see a highlight that says well said. For me, unless I was to go in, I would not know what that means. And I don't necessarily think that it relates to your industry. I don't necessarily think that it makes sense for you to have that. So I would just go in and tweak some of those. I would probably have like a behind the scenes highlight. I would have product and purchasing information highlight. I would have the who you are highlight, which you do have in here, which is great because it lets people see who you are and get to know you a little bit better. And you also did a Q&A, which is great. So it's definitely a good start. I would just like to see these fine-tuned a little bit more. When it comes to your content, I see a lot of inconsistency. I see a lot of grid posts which mess with the overall Instagram aesthetic. Some of the reels that are created don't have a proper still or photo selected as the cover, and the graphics that are being used are not on brand for your business. So when in doubt, I would always say steer clear of any grids because it messes with the overall look of the Instagram feed. I would keep a consistent color scheme or a color theme with your posts to make sure that they all seem like they're on brand. And then I would use a platform like Canva to create custom graphics for something like an Easter menu where you are using that blue and that gold that are in your logo to keep it consistent in your feed. Other than that, you show a lot of product photos here, which is great because people are going to want to see what they can purchase from you. I did notice that there is one photo here that isn't the proper Instagram sizing, so then when you see it in your Instagram grid, it doesn't show up clearly and some of the words get cut off. So just make sure that you are using the proper Instagram size. You can do that right through Canva. They actually have the template there for you. But yeah, great start. So there you have it. It was an audit of 3 different Instagram accounts. I like to keep these videos kind of under 15 minutes because I want them to be easily digestible for you. So if it felt like we went a little bit fast, feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about your profiles a little bit more. But I hope that this was beneficial not only for the people that got their Instagram accounts audited, but also those of you who were tuning in and kind of taking some notes as I went along. Before I close off this video, I did want to make a note about some changes that have happened in my personal life over the past couple of months, I would say. And I did make an announcement on my Instagram account last week, but I also want to include it in this video here. So I have recently taken on the position of the social media director at a Toronto-based agency called King Street Media. Before, I was working with an agency called Now Creative Group with my good friends Daniel and April, and they actually got their agency acquired by King Street Media, and now we are all working together. I am going to create a separate video on why I made this decision and how I shifted my mindset from working as a freelancer to working with an agency, and what that process was like and why I kind of made that decision. All you need to know is that I am now the social media director of King Street Media, a Toronto-based purpose-driven growth agency. And I'm just really stoked about it because this allows me to make a bigger impact and do more with a really great team. Thank you for tuning in to this week's video. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you next Tuesday.